What if happiness was always here, waiting for us if only we had the courage to embrace it? It takes courage to be happy. As Punjab Papaji once says, happiness is permanent. It is always here. What comes and goes is unhappiness. In this episode of Idea Tennis with Jessica V.B. and yours truly, Asher, you will know exactly how we're going to change your life with the conversation on happiness. And you will have the Idea Tennis approach to happiness. And by the end of this conversation, you will feel utterly fantastic. So you can take this energy that we just created for you today into the weekend and make it an even incredible weekend. So, Jessica, are you ready to tennis your way through this conversation today?
I am ready. That's a great question, especially now, this time of the year, this season, when
Mm,
approaching all of the holiday gatherings and family functions, coworker functions, friend functions, trying to juggle it all and maintain a true sense of happiness. I think that sometimes people put on a smile on their face as if it were a mask that they were wearing to give the impression to the world that everything is good and right and that they're happy when inside they're
mm.
anything but.
But going back to, I was thinking about my time in the military during the season of the year. A lot of folks like this. A lot of this. I realized this is like also a high suicide rate time of the year too, because a lot of folks they're away from their family or they're doing certain things. They don't have to like gathering that they can get together and feel like a family too. Some people are out there by themselves. It becomes a very tough part of the year too. But then I come back to the quote by Punjab Papaji, happiness is permanent, is always here, what comes it goes unhappiness. And then I thought
Wait,
about
wait, wait,
you.
wait. You got to slow down and say that again to
Slow. Yeah.
to understand.
Yes, yes. So happiness is permanent. It is always here, what comes and goes unhappiness.
Yeah.
But then I was tying that into the national purpose of this country, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But then it's also the freedom to the pursuit of unhappiness too, right? Because oftentimes you be around a lot of people and they get very negative. It's easy for you to go into that unhappiness phase because it's easy getting that energy versus building up the other kind of energy. Like, hey, well, let's focus on happiness. So when you think about happiness, what is your definition of happiness?
I don't know if I have a definition of happiness. What I
Mm,
have learned is that happiness is a choice.
mm,
It, you know, you're happy in spite of the challenges, in spite of the situations that you may be experiencing, in spite of sometimes the chaotic feelings we have in and around our life, whether it's health challenges, work challenges, whatever it is, that you choose to be happy in spite of all of those things. And it's essentially an inside job. It doesn't mean when you say, oh, I'm happy that everything is perfect and right and good with your world. What it means is, in spite of all these things, I'm choosing to look at the glass as half filled. I'm choosing to feel blessed, to wake up every day, to put a smile on my face. And sometimes happiness isn't always a smile.
mm.
Sometimes happiness is leaning in and being like, Asher, I'm having a rough day. I need a friend. And I know you got me. And so happiness is being able to lean in and realize that it's a choice that you make, not being deceitful. It's not pretending. It's that in spite of, I choose happiness.
Mm.
Because when I choose happiness, all of a sudden, like, things feel different that day. When I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, I got all these aches and pains," right? But instead of focusing in on my aches and pains, I'm like, "I'm blessed to be alive. I'm grateful for this new day. I'm gonna put a smile on my face and realize how blessed I am and move forward doing the best that I can today. I choose to be happy."
You said an incredible word just now. That was so good, by the way. The choice thing. That was so good because when people realize that it is a choice, then they stop blaming the external circumstances. Because oftentimes, what creeps on the inside oftentimes disrupt the happiness. Like something, the obstacle we talked about last week, the obstacle is an external thing. But then the friction happen on it's an internal thing. The friction happen on the inside. But then that disrupts your happiness. And you're like, oh my God, this thing is making me feel a certain kind of way. But then you get to choose how you feel. So I love the way you put the choice piece in there because that's a point a lot of people get to recognize. It is a choice to be happy. So what do you think robs people of their choice making in happiness?
Think one of the main things is the external validation that a lot of people like are in pursuit of.
Mm,
They feel that if they're able to make other people happy, then they can be happy. Or if other people are validating them and saying, good job, those things give validation to me as a person. And because I feel like, oh, I did a good job, I'm going to tap myself and I'm happy because I did a good job. Or I'm happy because my kid did well in school, or I'm happy because I'm about to go on vacation and I want the world to know I'm happy and all is right with the world.
mm,
The truth of the matter is all the things that are happening outside have no impact on true happiness. Yes, true happiness is an inside job, but it requires courage. You
mhm,
said it earlier. And some people may be wondering, like, how does being happy require courage?
mm,
'Cause it means being you. It means being authentic. It means saying, I choose to be happy today. However life unfolds, I'm choosing to be happy. And nothing and no one is going to rob me of my happiness because I won't give them that power. I won't give them the ability to steal my joy and realize that because I opened my eyes today and I woke up, I am blessed. And I have another day to be better, to do better, to have new experiences, to seek out new opportunities. And I do that with a full heart and not only gratitude, but the feeling of happiness that I get to do all of these things, that I get to do these things.
mm. That was very good, Jess. That was very good. Because you tap into back, it takes courage to be happy. And that is so powerful because have you ever noticed your person right now in your life? You notice when you get around certain people and you're having a really awesome day and somebody shows up just so negative, right? And you're like, you had the courage to say, hey, buddy, we ain't going to talk about all that stuff today. We're going to focus on something more positive. But you get sucked into that negative conversation and you don't have the courage to tell that person, hey, we ain't going to talk about that. I'm not gonna let this conversation that you're having right now ruin my side of the house. But we don't have the courage to say, we're not gonna do that today. We're not gonna talk about that. I don't want to hear that conversation right now. We don't have the courage to do that. Therefore, we get sucked into it, the whining and all that stuff. And then the gay goes our happiness. It goes out because no courage to step up and say, hey, let's focus on the positive here. Let's focus on what's great right here. But we can't do it. Why? Because we lack courage to tell the person, stop. I don't want to hear you complaining anymore. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm right there with you. That is one thing that I'm going to say the last 5 years of life have taught me is I have the courage and I have the words to be able to say, this energy, this vibe does not serve me. I cannot be in this space, in this place, whether it's people, whether it's a physical location, whether it's someone who's just focusing on all the negative. Like, that's a choice. You have a choice to focus in on things that are going to help build you or things that are going to help drag you down.
Mm,
It's about being able to say, listen, e everything's not working out the way you thought it would be. But why don't we change the narrative right now and not focus in on what is not working? Why don't we focus in on what we have control over, what a
mhm,
possible solution is, and how to keep the energy positive and good? Because when we're able to do that, the universe responds in beautiful ways that we would have never expected. And happiness is inevitable, right? Happiness is inevitable. It's almost like it's contagious. Like, how many of us remember when that song came out, Pharrell Williams, the "I'm Happy" song? Like, every time you
I'm
heard that,
so
no matter where you were, and you heard that song, it was like, "I'm happy," and so that is the choice that you make.
mhm.
Happiness is contagious. Be around people who are positive, who are uplifting, who have gratitude in their heart, and who choose the courage to be happy. What do you think, Asha?
Mm. The thing that creates the unhappiness is I'm gonna tie back into this book. Anybody ever call a gap in the game? It's by Dan Sullivan. I love that book, by the way. Anybody just to read that book. And it caught the gap is the space between where you are and the horizon that you're chasing, right? And then the gain is where you started from to where you're at right now. So you got to measure backwards. A lot of times, a lot of people measure forward. So then the horizon or the thing they're chasing, that gap sucks out the energy, sucks out the happiness. But if you can always go back and look at where you started from, the way you are right now, you can always feel like life is making progress. Like I am happy because I'm happy. I'm happy with who I am, but maybe I'm not happy where I'm at because I'm gonna keep going forward. But I'm happy who I am right now. And the only way for you to feel happy where you are right now is to measure where you started from, the way you are right now. And that always gives you a sense of gratitude. Wait a minute. Like yesterday, I was stressing out, but today I'm not. Or 2 years ago, the thing that I really wanted, actually got it. And it's right here. So then I get to be happy all the time because I'm measuring backward. But people don't measure backwards. They measure forward. They look at the gap. They look at the horizon. They're chasing. And you will never catch it because every time you get more, you want more.
Yeah.
But what you have is what you started from to where you are. And you got to be grateful for that. And that creates a lot of happiness. And when I look back at my personal life, where I started from to where I'm at today, Jess, a couple years ago, I was trying to be an author. I ain't wrote one single book, Jess, right? But now I'm on my fourth one. And I can like, yeah, I made progress. So I'm happy. I'm excited because at one point I wanted this. I wanted one book. I wanted one. Never had it, but I have almost four now. So it makes a difference. So look into your own personal life. We started from the way you are right now. What have you attained? And be grateful for that. And that will make you happy when you measure backwards. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree. First off, I just need to say, I think you're like the Dan Sullivan super fan. If he's not
Oh,
paying,
yes.
if he's not paying you, he should throw you some royalties, some affiliate fees, something.
Listen,
But
listen, that man don't need to pay me because he taught me so much. I need to write him a check for all the free content he provide from that changed my life.
this is not paid advertisement for Dan Sullivan, but go check it out. But
Thank you.
topic, life is all about what you just said. It's about progress. It's
Mhm.
about being able to see where you've been, those reference points and experiences that you've had in your life that have helped form you who you are today. So last night I was hosting a business seminar online. I
Mhm.
think you were on there, right?
I
And,
popped in. Yeah.
it was incredible. We had 41 people from all around the country and actually a few people from Canada joining us last night. And I shared at the end how grateful I am for where I am in life today. Because when I started out, I was 16 and pregnant, had my son at 17, got married at 18, and struggled financially. I remember the days when, now I'm aging myself, but it's all good. In New York, you needed tokens to board the train or the bus. I think the
Mhm.
bus. I never took the bus, but to get on the train, you needed a token.
Mhm.
My husband and I, we were so broke because we
Mhm.
were young. We had our son. We barely made ends meet. That we had the tokens counted out the 5 days of the week for the both of us. God forbid we lost one of those tokens, we would be in like serious shit. And I used to joke, I was like, only if you could be like the magic genie and rub the tokens and more tokens could come.
Mhm.
And I remember that while we were broke and struggling, it was probably one of the happiest times of our life
Mhm.
because we were naive. We were leaning into what we felt was not focusing in on the problems and the struggles of being young, married, and with a kid. We were just focusing on like how we were going to live our best life and the dreaming bigger than we could have ever thought. And I'm going to say the most important part is we just didn't dream. We took action, uncomfortable action. We chose to be happy. There were difficult moments, but we overcame them because we realized that happiness is a choice. It's an inside job. And here we are today, sitting here on idea. I'm sitting here with you on idea time. It's like being grateful for the day that I was counting the tokens because it taught me the value of money.
Mhm.
It taught me that you don't need things to be happy. And just looking forward to what 10 years from now is going to look like for both of us, not just for me, but the happiness that not only we create for ourselves, but for other people.
Mhm. Jess, I gotta ask you this. So how does it feel measuring backwards from that start point to the destination you're at right now? Or at least this reflection point, the point of reflection that you're at right now. How does it feel to measure backwards from that? Because we want to give these folks a strategy. We're going to give anybody that's listening, right? We want to give you a strategy to really think about your story and measure backwards and then feel the happiness from where you started out to where you are right now. So how does it feel for you to measure backwards from that counting token to here in this moment? How does it feel?
If I had to measure with like dollars, because that's how most people think of wealth, right? I billions of dollars. I have made billions of dollars worth of incredible decisions, of beautiful moments, of learning opportunities, of being able to create impact, not only on my life and my family's life, but being able to help create impact for other people through my
Mhm.
when I was working as the HR lady, and then when I decided to venture out on my own, which really wasn't on my own because I've always had a tribe of beautiful, talented people around me that have helped me get to where I am and encouraged me to be better, do better, which is why I'm all about that. Every single podcast, I say it, be better, do better. It's what we should all be striving for every single day. And then I go from those days of counting the tokens, being time poor because I was
Mhm.
time poor those days of my life. I did not own my time. My time revolved around work, being a college student, being a mom. My dad was actually dying of cancer at that time in my life. And it was just so much responsibility and so much what should have been like a dark hopeless time in my life, but it was just the exact opposite. It was the time in my life that I learned how to overcome and how to be able to focus on the good and focus the things that I have control over. And so today I sit here feeling like a billionaire in the sense that ain't nothing and no one gonna take my happiness away. I worked really hard. I had courage in situations that I should have been a coward. And I
Mhm.
had courage to know better and speak up for myself and now I sit here and before we actually went live, we were talking about I own my time. I am able to pick up my nephew on Fridays and hang out with him while my sister is doing her internship. I don't have to ask a boss for time off from work. And I get to do the things that are meaningful in my life and get to be able to spend time the way I choose because it's part of the life I've built and I continue to build. So I'm a
Mhm.
billionaire, baby.
Mm. So here's I'm gonna tell folks to think about this. If you listen to this, there is no such thing as unreasonable goals, just unreasonable timeline. And oftentimes we stress about the timeline. You talk about time priority. So you get to adjust the time, but you get to set the goal. You get to set the dream. Because if you have enough time, enough people, you can achieve it. So the goal is not unreasonable. It's the timeline we set on ourselves that makes it unreasonable. So if you go measure backwards now, you're thinking about how you turn like your life into a happy life, make it choiceful. The highest choice making of your life is to make it decide to be happy, choose to be happy. It's to measure backwards. But then you gotta go forward. Where you gonna set the goal going forward. So looking at your journey right now, Jess, and talking to the people that are listening to us, if you look at your own life, what is the thing that you really want to look forward to going forward? And set that out there and do the same thing every Friday, just like we come here record every Friday, measure backward for the week, like from Monday to Friday, what do you accomplish? You measure that and you're like, oh yeah, I did accomplish something this week. And be grateful for that. But then next week, I get to do the same thing again. Set the horizon and go chase it. But at the end of the week, go back and measure it. So measuring this week, Jess, measuring this week.
Measuring this week, I was hella productive. What I've also learned is that what you plan isn't always what actually happens, but it doesn't always mean that it wasn't productive anyway. I had set goals for the week of things I wanted to do. And then God was like, there's things you need to do versus you want to do. And you're going to get those things done. And so the focus changed for me. I set priorities though for the things that I wanted to do that were important to me, to my community, to my business growth, to my partnerships. Set those as priorities and then focus the rest of my time on what I needed to do that was non negotiable. And so I had a super productive week, although it wasn't productive because of the plans I had. And so I think that when you are able to go with the flow in that way of knowing that what you want to do and what you need to do are sometimes different, but just focus on what you have control over and producing the best result, whatever that is, whether it's work, whether it's an experience, but just going at it and knowing that I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to work towards it, not try. That's a word that I've been focused on removing from my vocabulary. Try.
Mhm.
I'm not going to try. I'm going to do,
Mhm.
and I'm going to do my best and see where it goes from there. So I think that if everyone takes on that same mindset of not try, but do, focus on what you have control over and realize that what you need to do and what you want to do can be two different things, but feel just as accomplished. Every week will be beautiful, filled with happiness and a sense of accomplishment. What do you think, Asham? How about your week? How's it been?
That was really good, Jess. That was really good. Yeah. It's like your week turned out to be beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
You had these things, but then it's turned out beyond that. That's what God does for people, right? You have a
Yep.
plan, but He gonna make it beyond your wildest dreams. So I love that. My week been very productive. Oh my God, I've been crushing this book. I've been finding so much solution. By the way, I've been working on this get ready for this book launch on 5 December for Dear to Ignite Your Dreams. And just getting the feedback from the authors that I'm working with, and they put an effort, they getting excited about like the book itself. You know, I'm just like, oh my God, this is my biggest gift. That's the biggest gift the universe gave me this year is to have me bring people together and to really take this story to another level and see how they feel about themselves with the story growing. Man, it just feels so good. I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Just bring people together and increase the value of their story, right? Be a self-value multiplier. And it's been really good. So my week is very good so far. So much work, but man, I love the work. I love the work. Love that feeling.
And I think that sometimes people think of word almost like the word work as like a curse word almost.
Mhm.
And the fact that you, at this stage of your life, where you are today, based on all the experiences you've had, the fact that your work gives you purpose is because you're creating an impact on other people.
Mm.
At the end of the day, purpose isn't really ever about the individual. It's the impact that the individual is having on a community, on a person, on an industry. And so, what is it that maybe that's another question that we'll ask in a couple of weeks? What's the impact that you want to leave on the world? That when you're gone and someone is stating your eulogy, what would they say about you? What would your life look like? What impact would you have created? And what legacy is all about? I think you and I are very similar in that mindset that we work to create impact and leave a legacy. And when you talk about leave a legacy, it's not always about money, the legacy. The money, yes, is great. No one's saying, no, I don't want the money. But the legacy of knowing that you created change in a person, in a community, in the world. I say, I want to leave the world when I leave, the day that I'm going to heaven, that I left the world just
Mm.
a little bit better than when I entered it in 1974.
Ooh.
That is my goal in life. However small, that I left it a little better.
That was very good,
That's happy.
Jess.
That's
That
happy.
was that was very good. Oh my God. See, when you was talking to, I was thinking about. I'm gonna wrap up with this.
Mhm.
When I was in the military, one of the big questions that drove me, like, who do I want to be a hero to, right? And the answer for that was the American family, American population, because it was worth my sacrifice. So I want to be a hero to them. But after I retired from the military, it was the same question again. Who do you want to be a hero to, Asher? And it came back to my immigrants, my veterans, and now entrepreneurs, right? Those are the people I want to be a hero to. And then when I was putting together this anthology book with my immigrant family, like, I get to be a hero to them now. Like, through the work I'm doing with this story, and that feels good because now we talk about happiness. The best way to feel your happiness is to be useful to other people. The more useful you are, like the more you feel happy because man, I just did something that changed somebody's life. I feel like I'm useful. I feel like God is working through me. I'm useful. And when you feel useful, happiness is easy.
Yes.
Happiness is easy. I'm telling you. And I was like, I'm feeling that right now because I get to be a hero to these people. And every day I get up, I'm in love with these people. And I want to be a hero to them. And I get to do it through writing, something that I really love doing. And I want to write with people. I want to write with you. Like, I want to rock with you, but I want to write with you to help you get this
Yes.
story out there so you can have a conversation with the world.
Yes.
And with that, we get to wrap up now, Jess. So what are your biggest takeaway from this conversation that we have so
So,
far?
biggest takeaway I'm going to say for the audience is happiness is an inside job. It's a choice that you make. Life doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to be happy. Think about where you've been and where you are today and where you're going to be 5, 10 years from now. Happiness is something you choose because you want to surround yourself with positive, good vibes, and figure out what's next in the most positive, productive way possible. The week may not go as you planned it, but it doesn't mean that it was a bad week. And when you have an attitude of gratitude and are filled with the heart of happiness, life is beautiful.
That was very good. Here's something we started off with. Takes courage to be happy. So if you're not happy, you gotta check your courage at the door.
Yeah.
So if you're not happy, then why am I not happy? Do I lack the courage to be happy? And if you lack the courage to be happy, you gotta work on that. Because if you can't take on the courage to make yourself happy, then what else are you holding back on in life? What else are you hiding from? And so my biggest takeaway from this conversation is what you just say just now, just about like really living the purpose piece of it and take that purpose and be useful to other people. Because every day I do that, I get to see like actually having a massive impact. Because before I leave planet Earth, I want to impact. I have my numbers in the billions, right? I want to impact that many people. And the way I do that is to me mastering my thinking vocabulary, my writing vocabulary, my speaking vocabulary. Like master the communication piece and imagination piece so I can impact a lot of people. And the first place I start doing is to writing. And now we're doing the communication piece to podcasting. Because now this is an asset that becomes an asset for the person that's listening to it. Like you get to take this and just change your life. You can listen to this over and oh my God, I like the way you guys have a conversation about happiness because now I'm thinking about my life differently. So we are here, Idea Tennis. Tennis away through your conversation, tennis away through your life, to the holidays. You got tennis away through the holidays, and tennis comes back to thinking, innovating. Actually, no, thinking, elevate, navigate, nurture, innovate, and solve or serve. Right? We get to serve you with the conversation today. So think about your life and tennis away through your conversation. Any last word, Jess?
I think I want to put a disclaimer on our conversation for today for other people who are listening to this and quite aren't at that place of happiness and of
Mm-hmm.
choosing happiness is it's a choice. The choices we make in life aren't always easy. And sometimes we don't know what the purpose is that we have for our life, and that's okay. That's part of why we have these conversations to prompt you to think differently, to prompt you to search within, to reflect, and to figure out how and what you need to do different in order to have different become your life. And the answer doesn't have to come today. And eventually it will come when you focus on the good, when you focus on the fact that you are in more control than you think, and that you have more courage that lives within you than you could ever imagine. So tap into the courage, lean into the community, and know that growth is possible. And take each day, one day at a time, focus on happiness, and surround yourself with people that just want to see you do good.
Mm. And you guys are listening right now. You are listening to this. Do us a favor, please. Subscribe to the channel. We're on a journey to get into to 1,000 subscribers. And that's the goal right now. The first initial goal is 1,000 subscribers. So your contribution to that will be valuable. And then you can follow me on at asher.ra.st on Instagram, Asher Wright on Facebook, even though my pen name is Asher AW. That's where my book is published underneath, Asher AW. But you can find me on all the platforms, Asher Wright, Asher AW on the book platforms. Jess, how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram with Success is Your Reward with Jess. You could follow me on Facebook with my name. And there's a lot of goodness that's about to be unleashed into the world right now with some projects I'm working on. I'm incredibly excited about them. If you're looking for a coach, if you're looking to level up your business, if you're looking to start a business, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Send me a direct message and we could chat, see what I could do to help you create a life of impact and income. So
Mm.
I look forward. And next week, we're actually going to be talking. It's going to be a question, I guess. We'll figure out a question for it. We're actually going to be talking about Asher's book. So make sure you join us. Because Asher's book, believe it or not, is actually not Asher's book. It's 10 people's story. And it really
Ten-
can book launch. It goes with the conversation of impact, of
Mhm.
purpose. It goes with fulfilling your dreams, being scared and doing more. to get more. So I'm excited about next week's conversation and sharing with the world a little bit more insight of your book and all the goodness that's about to be unleashed.
Oh, one more thing. I forget. So go to www.dy Oh, so remember the website right here because this there DTIYD. Dare to ignite your dreams, right? Simplified. Dare to ignite your dream.com. What is D? Yeah. You can go there /launch and you can register for the book launch. Let me say that again. DT Dare to ignite
Forget
your
it. We'll
dreams.
put it in the comments. We'll put it in the show notes. And
Listen,
you
there
to be part of the launch experience. We're going to have some incentives, some fun things going on from now till December 5th, and then probably the week after. Make sure you're a part of it. Thank you so much for joining us on Idea Tennis with Justice Asher. Each week, a thought provoking question to get you to want to be better, do better, to focus in on mindset, growth, and community. That's really what we're all about. So have a blessed rest of your day. Don't forget, subscribe and leave a comment and share with a friend.
Jess, you are such a perfectionist. You don't want to see me make all those mistakes. Huh?
No, we can't go there.
All right, guys, make it an awesome week.
Note to self. Have a good night, guys.